Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a good evening, day, morning, wherever you are. I hope it's good. So this stream is random. Um, I just thought I'd do this tonight, and I want to talk about the Alec Baldwin situation, what we know, what's developing, and whatnot. And this is going to be an open invite. So if you are in the chat and you want to join on the panel itself, use the link, the StreamYard link. It will bring you in so we can also join the discussion. So basically what we know is that on Thursday, hold on one moment. On Thursday, Alec Baldwin was working on the set of his movie Rust. And from what we heard that day, there was a fatal accidental shooting where the cinematographer, Helena Hutchins, and the director, Joel Souza, got shot. Helena lost her life. Joel Souza was injured. And Alec Baldwin has been, or was the one who pulled the trigger. Now, there's a lot of information that is still coming out, and there's a lot of development. I did a few videos on this whole incident, like how the problems, the safety measures, the lax safety protocols of this movie is not just an isolated incident. There's a lot of things that are going on in Hollywood. But what we do know is that an internal investigation is going on, and that they're going to be reviewing the safety protocols. The assistant director, David Halls, is the one who handed Alec Baldwin the gun and called out cold gun, which means that the gun does not have rounds in it, meaning it does not have live rounds or blank rounds. We also learned from a police report that the live rounds and the blanks were stored in the same area. We know that the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, was very inexperienced. We also know that, well, Dave Halls is also an asshole, and that this is not the first time he has had this sort of problem. He was fired from a previous job on the movie Freedom Path in 2019 after a crew member incurred a minor and temporary injury when a gun was unexpectedly discharged. Halls was removed from the set immediately after the prop gun discharged. Production did not resume filming until he was off-site. An incident report was taken and filed at the time, and he was fired. This is not the first time this has happened under this man's, or by this man. There's also comments from people who work on set, like the chief electrician, speaks out, says negligence and unprofessionalism caused this incident. Yes, I was standing shoulder to shoulder with Helena during this fatal shot that took her life and injured the director, Joel Souza. Serge Svetnoy, which I covered in the bigger video. How you doing, Happy Dinosaur? Good to see you. And I was holding her in my arms when she was dying. Her blood was on my hands. He wrote in part on Facebook of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. So, yeah, and now we're getting reports that Alec Baldwin is inconsolable. He's canceling projects. It shook him to his core, apparently. Now, I don't like Alec Baldwin personally. I think he's an asshole. And but as a human, I could sympathize with him. I do sympathize with this man. I'm not completely an asshole. But when it comes to him personally as a human, I think he is truly garbage. And one time he tweeted out, "I can't imagine what it'd be like to shoot somebody." Well, now he knows what it's like to shoot somebody because he ended a life. I'm doing good. My brother came by, visited me, or I'm doing good. My brother came by, visited me, gave me a gift, and I'm happy. I've got a new job set up tomorrow. That is good to hear, Happy Dino. Congratulations. And so now, uh, so now, Alec Baldwin is canceling all his future projects and whatnot. He's lost it. He's basically he's swirling the drain of sanity right now. He's in a very depressed state. What we know from other reports is that this gun was used as a prop gun, but also used recreationally for target practice. There were two other incidents where the stunt double of Alec Baldwin had an accidental discharge of a firearm on this set. People were complaining and they weren't reporting on it. And now, because they've said, we received no prior complaints until this happened. What the heck is going on this? Such lax measures, safety protocols, and whatnot. I do have some sympathy for, how you doing, Peacat? Hi. I do have some sympathy for Baldwin, but he can't escape from his role in this chain of negligence. Exactly. He is a producer. He is a producer on this movie. He's one of the producers, which means a lot of responsibility falls on him. And also, you look at movies like Rambo, the 2008 one with Sylvester Stallone. Look in the special features of that movie, plus many other movies that have heavy firearm usage. They show you some of the guns. They show you the rigorous safety precautions that people use. They show you a lot in special features of movies. The safety measures, the protocol that goes into handling these weapons. Look at the ones where they did with Kate Beckinsale in Underworld. There was a time where she got really excited and started spinning around with two loaded pistols in her hand, and they all freaked. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's how they reacted. And she's like, I'm sorry, I just felt like a ballerina dance girl or something like that. That doesn't matter. You can't do that with loaded weapons. I feel bad for the family that the news tried to tie his wife's death with politics. If that's the case, then the people who did that should honestly freaking be smacked upside the head on live TV. Anybody who ties this shit in with politics needs their head rearranged. It might be because I'm from a country where we're all banned from firearms and normally unaware of firearm safety, but I'd assume the armorer is responsible for those firearms at all times. Yes, the firearm or the armorer plus the prop master are all responsible for the firearms. When they leave the area, they need to make sure that that firearm is safe to use. They need to let people know what is in it or what is not in it. And for an assistant director to put his hands on that firearm and hand it to Alec Baldwin was so far out of protocol, it should never have happened. And when he's saying cold gun and it's loaded, that is a mistake that can have criminal consequences. Didn't check gun and pointed it at another. Sad and hi, OHR. Yes, Jeff B. Hello, how are you? And yes, it is sad and it is very wrong what happened. And we got somebody who just came in.
Hello.
Hey, Junebug, how you doing?
Yeah.
So what do you think of all this stuff going on with Alec Baldwin and the Rust set?
Well, first of all, there's just something. There's just something that seems very fishy to me because okay, why would you point a gun at the crew? I mean, I get it. Like guns, sometimes guns go off, but which very rarely. But like why would you point the gun at the crew is what I'm trying to more think about because I'm not going to speculate, but I'm just going to say this: we all know that Alec Baldwin has a temper. That's been noted before, and I'm wondering if there's more details that haven't come out yet that we.
Well, you also got to understand that there are camera angles that there are movies where people do point the guns at the camera, but they're safety or the weapons are safe to use.
Yeah.
So he could have been rehearsing a shot because that is the speculation that he was rehearsing a cross draw, which means he pulls it from the opposite side, points and shoots. Well, that's basically what they were saying happened.
Well, I also heard that he had he was pulling it out of the holster and had his gun on the trigger, and which is
had his finger on the trigger. Yes,
which is not proper gun safety at all.
No, it isn't.
So
not at all.
And yeah, exactly, and that's one of the reasons why. Like, listen, I mean, I'll say it, I support guns. We do have the right to bear arms in America, but if I ever become a filmmaker on my sets, just to be safe, I'm using airsoft guns. So.
Well, that's all well and good, but people are going to be able to spot those from a mile away if you ever make a movie.
They actually do use them more often than you think now.
Oh, I know. I've seen several airsoft guns that are very realistic looking.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But yeah, you are absolutely right. Safety protocol, you have basically, let me turn on my camera here. If you have a weapon, you do not have your trigger finger in the weapon like this.
No.
You always have it out and above the trigger, never in the trigger guard, ever. And that was the main problem with this incident because he pointed and pulled the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, Dave Halls, the assistant director, did say cold gun, meaning it wasn't loaded and it was safe.
Yeah. Well,
however,
that doesn't matter.
That was a big mistake.
That doesn't matter because I don't. If anybody hands me a gun, I'm not going to trust that person if they do say cold gun. I'm going to be checking that gun myself.
Exactly. That is another thing that he should have done. That Alec Baldwin should have done. He should have had the common sense and common courtesy to check that gun to make sure that it was indeed not loaded. Because cold gun means no blanks, no live ammo, nothing in the barrel.
Well, and I'm not trying. I'm trying to think of a movie. I mean, Alec Baldwin is. Let's put it this way: he's very anti-gun.
Yes.
I'm trying to be where
Keep going.
And so probably he wouldn't even know that cold gun. I'm going to trust the director before to check it. Like I don't. I mean, so yeah, it's just like I think that there's more to the story than what they're letting out right now. And honestly, like I said, that.
Well, my video. Yeah, I had a video that basically tells a bigger story. Yeah, there is a greater story to this, and it's the fact that a lot of movies, because they say that there's a rush to get content out quickly. How about safely? Because this is not the only movie that they have done that people who worked on this project and who have witnessed or who have heard of all the stuff that went on about this project. It's like, this stuff should never have happened. And if something like this happens, the entire project is shut down immediately. If people are complaining, that there are safety regulations that are not being upheld and are walking off the job like happened in this project, they should have shut down immediately and started looking into it. Let me say hi to the chat again. Forbidden Ruin.
Exactly.
The reporting made it read like the armorer wasn't around at the time of the incident, like kung flu restrictions made her leave the area. If that is true, then that entire set should have been shut down. She is supposed to be on set with or behind the cameras and stuff to make sure that the weapon is being handled right and is being properly utilized. Her being off the set for any reason at all, they should never have had the gun on set.
Exactly. Well, I'm just going to say this. If I was, based on the evidence that we have now, and I'm just basing this solely on evidence that we have now, maybe there's further details that could come out, but if I was the judge in this scenario, Alec Baldwin, yes, he pulled the trigger, so therefore he did the crime, but honestly, I would probably put the Army Master, at least give her at least 5 years, because she was responsible for the weapons, and she was inexperienced, and she was like 24 years old. I mean, and I think her dad was a prop master for movies. So you made your dad, you made your dad look bad by who trained you. So, and she did not even trust herself. She should have gone with her gut instinct. Whatever happened to that rule, go with your gut instinct. So,
the union officials or members of the union walked off. Norris, they actually, or members of union that were part of this movie, they walked off the set because of the lax safety protocols. That is a humongous red flag, according to people who worked and who have or a lot more experience. If members of the union are walking off, then and saying, "No, we've said or we've complained. Why isn't anything being done?" That should tell you right now something needs to be looked into.
Well, I've heard what Shannon Lee had to say about it.
Bruce Lee's wife,
daughter,
yeah. Because
even Linda Lee, even Linda Lee spoke up. Bruce Lee's wife.
This should never have happened.
Exactly, because listen, I mean, again, I'm from rural Kansas, so we, we're Midwest town. We go hunting all the time, and it doesn't matter if your best friend hands you the rifle. You better check that rifle.
Yep. Whenever you're handed a gun, check it. It doesn't matter if it's a rifle, pistol, whatever. You always check it.
Exactly. And
Forbidden Ruin, I want to touch on this. They're throwing the assistant director under the bus, stating he was the one that took the weapon from the cart and gave it to Baldwin. That doesn't matter.
No.
That does not matter. And yes, this man is being thrown, or just because he's being thrown under the bus doesn't make him any less guilty. He should have checked that weapon. He should have checked it. And this is not the first time he has done this.
Exactly. I mean, I cannot stress that enough. When you are handed a weapon, you treat every gun as if it's loaded, because, sometimes, I mean, I don't know if they were using an actual prop gun or an actual, Colt 45, like from the Old West. But sometimes those old Western guns had faulty triggers. So, I'm just saying that you check those bullets, make sure if there's anything in it. And because, so accidents don't happen, because, people are saying that, how's Hollywood learned nothing from Brandon Lee?
Exactly. This should never have happened.
Exactly, because there were so many safety protocols after Brandon Lee's death. In a lot of ways, it's sad that Brandon Lee died, but in a lot of ways, Hollywood became more self-conscious about guns. So what I'm saying, and basically, it's sad that he died, but in a way, it was a blessing in disguise, in a way. But now they're going back on this by doing things quickly. And honestly, if I was the director and people were being unsafe and the union was walking out, I'd be like, what the heck? What's the heck's wrong with my crew? I'd probably go to the board of directors and talk to them. And honestly, maybe this director should be fired, because it's obvious that he can't,
Assistant director. The director got shot.
Okay. Well,
yeah. Sorry.
Well, the second unit director then should honestly get fired, and I don't even know if the film should continue. Like, it should just.
He's not second unit. He's first assistant director is what the title is. Second unit director means you're shooting in an entirely different area.
Okay, well, Honestly, I'm just saying that I think the film should be shut down permanently.
Oh, it is. It is shut down until they conclude the investigations. Also, to touch on Forbidden Ruin, I know they want him to take all of the fall, 100%, even when there should have been 4-day safety checks before recording started. Not just 4 days. There should be weeks, 3 weeks at least, when you are doing weapons and whatnot. You need to make sure the actors know how to use these weapons safely. You need to teach them how to fire these weapons. Keanu Reeves, when he was doing his gun safety training, weeks he did this stuff.
Months.
Months, even, yes. The director is also to blame, sadly, which is not something many people are willing to talk about, I've noticed. Well, the director, yes, he does also bear a responsibility, even though he is himself also got shot. But the thing is, when you have, or they mentioned that they brought in, after half the union members walked off, they brought in scabs, meaning non-union. And they're also complaining that people weren't getting paid enough, that people are not as qualified and such. They are not willing to talk about that, I've noticed. What do you mean? Are you talking about the director of photography or the cinematographer, Epime? Or Epi? And Alec is an anti-Second Amendment radical whose whole thing shouldn't have happened. You're damn right. Honestly, in my own opinion, but this has nothing to do with law, my own opinion, if you don't like guns, you shouldn't handle guns. There is a reason why safety protocols are a thing. If you do not like guns, maybe if you know about guns and whatnot, you should learn about them. However, if you are going to complain about guns and whatnot, the best thing to do is probably stay the hell away from them.
Well, I mean, and even Alec
Baldwin, he was not director, or he was only credited as producer.
Well, and they had other weapons. I mean, this is a Western. If Alec Baldwin's so anti-gun, I'm just saying that, it could have been easily prevented. Like maybe he said he could say his character his character use guns, because they had other weapons in the Wild West.
This is a Western.
They had other weapons like whips, knives. I mean, so. Yeah,
but nothing more effective than a gun. Also, to touch on Epime, as far as we know, she asked him to aim at the camera and was responsible for checking the firearm too. Wrong. A cinematographer is not meant for safety regulations. All a cinematographer's job is to point, shoot, and make sure that the filming equipment is working correctly. She had no responsibility for the safety of that firearm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit sad predicting Alec Baldwin is going to use the woman's death to preach, to use about gun bad shit. The thing is, I don't think he's going to be doing much of anything. Like others, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers and other people are talking about, he's actually spiraling down. He's inconsolable right now. He canceled all of his future projects. He's not in a good place. Because the fact of the matter is, somebody said earlier, who was it? How charges were not, or Forbidden Ruin, before the investigation started, New Mexico AG said no charges will be pressed at this time. That can easily change during the time of the investigation, because the thing is, this was negligence at a criminal level. A person lost their life. You cannot. This is not a case of accidental death. This is a case of a lot of freaking negligence that led to a person dying. I'm saying Alec Baldwin is a traumatic, stressful state of mind right now. Yes, he's traumatized right now. That is indeed true. They probably don't know who to charge yet. They know exactly who to charge, but what they need is the full evidence in order to make the charges stick. You can't just go off half-cocked, no offense and pun unintended, and basically say, okay, we're going to charge this person now, and we're going to find the evidence later. That doesn't work. You need evidence to make a criminal charge stick. All right, this is interesting. But yeah, it's interesting to see he's broken. Well, that's because this man, Alec Baldwin, has tweeted in the past, I wonder what it feels, or I can never understand what it feels like to shoot somebody or something like that along those lines. And yet he now knows what it's like because he did it. He shot somebody. He has to live with that. He has to live with the fact that he killed somebody. Mm-hmm. Whether it's an accident or not, we're all human. And for somebody who's anti-gun nut like he is, well, guess what? He is still human. Wasn't Alec Baldwin a primary producer? If so, he is responsible for the Western theme. I believe so, Jeff B. He is indeed responsible. This man bears a lot of responsibility. If he's producer, he bears a lot of responsibility, especially for negligence on his set.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's definitely going to raise the budget of this film because I think
that I don't know. Sorry,
I think it was like $6 million, so very low budget for
that's film. And they were not paying people. They were not taking proper safety protocols. They were cutting corners in the worst way. This was an accident, or this was a tragedy that had all the earmarks to it. Mm-hmm. There was going to be an accident. If it wasn't this, it was going to be something else. And 2 other incidents happened before this on the very same set.
Exactly. I mean, yeah.
I think the reason this is affecting him so hard is because he has to rationalize what happened while knowing what he's said in the past. That's a tough time ahead for Al. You're damn right. You are right. This man now knows his worst nightmare just came and punched him in the chest in reality. It's ironic now that he has actually shot someone on accident or not. He has to live with that guilt for the rest of his life since he made that comment in the past about shooting someone. Yeah, indeed. Now he knows how it feels. Yes, he does. And I truly wish the man well. I truly hope that he can pull it together. But also, I do not respect Alec Baldwin because the man is a complete he's an asshole. He is the biggest asshole in entertainment. But I do sympathize with him because, well, nobody should have that sort of stain on their conscience unless you are fully prepared to do something like that, like serve in the army or something. Also, but also I do want to state, first off, this should have been stated at the beginning of the stream. My condolences do go out to Helena Hutchins and her family, or to Helena Hutchins' family.
Yes, thoughts and prayers with her family. And
indeed.
I mean,
that armory lady shouldn't have been on the job alone. She should have been, or had a veteran expert with her. There's 2 safety checks. Assistant director should have checked it, and Alec should have checked it. Not only that, but she herself should have checked it as well. Not to mention, they hired her because she wouldn't have had to have been paid as much as an actual expert. They cut a lot of corners, folks. I can't stress that enough. They cut so much. They sacrificed qualifications for low-pay workers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, honestly, her dad again was an armory master for years in Hollywood. I mean, I'm pretty sure he would. I mean, if this was his daughter's first job, I'm pretty sure he would have at least helped her out and maybe cut his salary a little bit, just to help his daughter out. because that's what at least that's what a man should do: make a sacrifice for his daughter, take a pay cut, because there's so many factors where this could have been prevented. And if
Who
Alec
knows? He
Baldwin,
could have been busy at the time on another project himself.
true, but I think he was. I thought I heard he was retired. So
Or that too.
yeah, but you could always. I'm just saying, it could have been. She could have just called her. I'm pretty sure she could have just called her dad or something, and he would have helped his little girl. So
Possibly, sure, but that's no excuse for her other previous work where they did have to halt production because of how she was handling a gun, and then handed the gun to an 11-year-old actress.
yeah, that's. I mean, honestly, if that ever happened on my set, I see her handing a gun to an 11-year-old. I'm going to be talking to producers and document it and saying that she's fired. We're going to have to find another armory master because she's being unsafe with guns, and I'm not trusting her. So,
Yeah. Also, I read.
I don't care at that point if I get fired. I will walk out of the project if they're not going to be handling firearms safely, because guns very rarely go off by accident. There have been really weird cases, but usually that comes down to people being stupid. So
Yeah. Now, Norris says, I read he's the one who hired the youngster armorer. I'm guessing she's attractive. I honestly don't see her as physically attractive at all. But what I will say is that I have seen what she looks like, and she is not that attractive. She looks like a raging SJW with green hair, fishnet top, and black leather bra, dressing like a skank.
Let's put it this way. Yes, I'm going to make a crude joke, but she's attractive in that one night stand type of way. So
I wouldn't even have a one night stand with her, to be completely honest.
No.
But me being demisexual, that shouldn't.
Maybe more of a drunk one night stand, and afterwards you're like, oh shit, So
shameful nightstand is what you're thinking of. My fear: Alec pops up on CNN peddling anti-Second Amendment propaganda and rallies DC to attack and seize. Guess what? That will never happen. The man is literally in such a traumatic, has so much trauma in his head right now. Honestly, they should put him on suicide watch.
Yeah. Based on what I've heard.
This movie cut more corners than an emo lumberjack. I'm expecting this to turn into a rallying for more gun control across the board. That's not it, dude. This is not a gun control issue. This is not somebody who just murdered somebody. There's no way that this can be politicized. And if anybody does politicize it, they need their head rearranged. I'm saying that right now.
With the way some people are, I could see them, but yeah, no, honestly, what it should be is more, maybe this is kind of a thing where we should actually teach people more about firearms and firearm safety and, and everything. Like, one of the things I've been telling things is that, maybe we should actually do it, like actually teach kids in schools, about firearm safety. And, because where I'm at, we have a school where they have a gun safety class. Yeah. And all these kids, that type of class is, if you are being a teenager and messing around, you're kicked out of the class automatically. Like it's those type of classes, and because I'm saying that should be nationwide.
Gun safety is very high, or guns are very high risk. That's why they have those strict measures.
Exactly.
They didn't wipe her account. She wiped her own accounts. She wiped her own accounts. Forbidden Ruin. I'm not saying it's a gun control issue, but I'm sure they'll find a way to make it into one. If they do, then they are seriously fucked up. The Guardian publication threw out this hint that a Trump supporter loaded the gun with live rounds. That's bullshit. Whether the man's political affiliations aside, it has no bearing on what happened.
Yeah, if that's the case, then a monkey came out of my butt today. So
for Alec Baldwin personally, he mishandled a gun and killed someone. Same principle applies. I'd if you can't crash a car and kill someone, it's a manslaughter. It's manslaughter off the jump. Yeah. People need to be criminally held accountable for this. Negligent homicide or negligent manslaughter is a charge that can be used. And honestly, I think it should be. I think Alec Baldwin should face negligent or criminal negligent manslaughter charges.
Yeah.
As should the assistant director, David Halls. And I believe that the armorer and anyone else who had hands on that gun in those few hours should also have criminal negligence charges brought up against them.
Yeah. And honestly, it should be. I would say give. I mean, give them 10 years, maybe 20 years to life. Honestly.
No, that the punishment has to fit the crime.
Yeah, true, but.
And you cannot put an excessive punishment onto somebody. That would be wrong. I am all for law and order. But I am not for people serving any longer than what their crime permits.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody actually wants to come on and discuss, I will send out the link again. There you go. Or off the jump you. The family will win a big civil suit as well. That's if they decide to press charges. Jeff B. That's if they decide to press charges. If they decide to press charges, then yes, there could be a huge payout. But that, if you ask me, money, that is the thing that should least be thought of right now. You still there, June?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm cooking my dinner, so.
Okay, just making sure. I hope the family gets a massive payout. I mean, yes, folks, sure, there is that part of it, but I think it is very inappropriate for that to even be discussed.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, a person did lose their lives, yes, and it is a grieving period right now. And yes, there is there is a lot of potential for criminal and civil. And you know what? People probably will have to pay out. But honestly, I do not feel like talking about that.
I think at this time it's not really appropriate to discuss something like that because, she's the one who lost her life. She's a mother and everything, and it's just not appropriate at this time, I don't think so.
Well, there are GoFundMe's and there are funds or scholarships that are being put in her name. The family is pressing charges for one thing. Gun violation involves state and federal charges. Thus, New Mexico State may press charges. Yeah, that's true. Or that's also true. So if anybody wants to jump on to also discuss this, feel free. Her husband forgave Alec the day after it happened, abolishing him of wrongdoing, which is mind-boggling. That does not abolish him of criminal or civil wrongdoing.
No.
Just because he's forgiven by a person does not mean he is forgiven by the law. And in this case, the law should have precedence.
Yep.
So we got 7 people watching. Make sure that you press the like button, smash the like button, whatever you prefer to do to the like button. Just keep it PG-13. And if you want to join, I have sent out the link into the chat itself. The law doesn't forgive so easy. Yeah, you're damn right it doesn't, Happy Dinosaur. The husband may not be thinking straight, to be honest. He did just lose his wife, and it was before a lot of details came out. Yeah, that is also true.
Yeah. Me. Honestly, I'd.
Oh, we lost Junebug. And I wish I could. My biggest beef is the bitch armorer that made me furious. Her head deserves to roll, and for her head to roll for her carelessness on not one but two film sets. Yeah, her and the assistant director both have done several things to be or to show that they are very lax when it comes to safety protocol. Oh, and in other news, a person. Huh. Hold on one second, folks. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. Had to respond to somebody on Twitter because they were or very huge idiots. I really hope Baldwin doesn't get less of a punishment because of his celebrity status. He most likely will. He needs to be treated no different than a no-name person in that situation. Absolutely. I hope Alec faces justice. I can't say that or what that should be or what it should look like in this case because it is complicated. It may be a slap on the wrist. It may be 5 years prison. I don't know. I do know actually because it could be 18 months in prison for negligent manslaughter. Lax safety protocol, more like pure carelessness and recklessness, especially after half of the staff walks off the set and no one of the higher ups bat an eye out to it. Yeah, true. So share the stream out, folks, on different social medias if anybody, or to let people know that this stream is going on. I do appreciate any and all support. I'm going to be sharing this on my own Facebook right now. Let me just get it on my phone. But yeah, if anybody wants to come on, they can join the discussion and whatnot. I believe Junebug went to eat his dinner. And alrighty, here's that. 10 people have liked. Thank you very much. And sharing is caring. I swear the logic of non-gun owners and gun noobs is mind-numbing to me. I have second nature for gun owners to check every weapon I pick up, even right in front of the person who gave me the gun. Yep. There we go. And there we go. All right, so that is shared on Facebook. I'm sure you've seen my thread on Twitter. There are no accidents when handling firearms. That is one way of looking at it. And, oh, yeah. Damn, price, better, or get better ASAP. Sadly, I can't talk with a trach in my throat, but soon I'll be done with it. I hope you do get better, dude. Folks, send your prayers out to Price because he's having a bout with cancer, and let's give him some thoughts and prayers to help him knock it out of the ring. Anyway, I think for me the most important thing is that Alec is a non-gun owner as far as I know. The armorer is the onset gun owner and is hired to be responsible at all times, no matter whose hands or in whose hands they are, or the gun is. Yeah. Exactly, Epi. So definitely share out the link, folks. If you guys want to join, feel free to jump in. The link is in the chat. It is true that the gun wasn't checked after the crew broke for lunch. No, it wasn't. It was not, Jeff B. If it was, they would have, or Helena Hutchins would be alive. How you doing, Caroline? Good to see you. No, she's anything but a gun owner. She's, as far as I'm concerned, she should never be anywhere near a range or guns. You're talking about Hannah Gutierrez-Reed. Yeah, I agree. I want to jump in, went for a mic check, and my mic is dead. Sorry about that. But yes, this should not have happened. If they had followed the safety protocols, Helena Hutchins would be alive. That's the brutal state of the situation, folks. If they had checked that gun, if Alec himself had checked that gun, if Dave Halls had checked that gun, guess what? Helena Hutchins would be alive. The blood is on their hands. As far as I know, the gun was left on a table during lunch, unsupervised, and theory is someone used it for target practice. Then the assistant director picked it up without checking it. Yeah, that's been confirmed in an affidavit or in affidavits. The gun was used in target practice. Not only that, there were other incidences that happened during that whole thing. The fact this bitch gave an 11-year-old a live weapon on another film set with Nick Cage, that alone should have been arrested on site. That's a different situation. Plus, she loaded blanks into that firearm for that particular movie. She did it unsafely because she did it on the ground where there were pebbles and whatnot. Mike worked when I streamed in February, stopped using my headset and mic, and now it doesn't work at all. Sorry to hear that, Forbidden. And Junebug, welcome back.
Sorry, I got a phone call, so.
That happens. I thought you were starting to do your dinner or something.
I'm eating it right now, so.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. So what were we I know we're still discussing the whole Alec Baldwin situation, but what I missed, so.
Not much. We were just discussing, or other people were asking questions on it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, I also did a video that you can check out on my channel about how not just safety measures are not just being done, or we're not being fully enforced here, but in other movies and other movie sets as well. People are starting to speak up, and that is a good thing. Does no one on the set not know what gun safety is? That's the thing, Caroline. No, they don't. They don't.
I'm gonna stress it, but number one rule: treat every gun like it's loaded. And somebody hands a gun, even if they say it's cold, you check it when they hand it to you. So.
Yep. I question the only times information because the information comes from a disgruntled stagehand that walked off the set. No. Disgruntled stagehand that walked off the set because of lax safety protocols. That is what you should also pay attention to, Forbidden. Ruin.
Mm-hmm.
Blanks can still be dangerous even when maintained properly. They still eject enough gas to kill someone if you press the barrel to the skin. Yeah, I've seen that on CSI.
Yeah, but that's like extremely rare. I mean, you know.
No, it's not. If you put a blank up to a person and pull that trigger, it can kill them, depending on where they're quote-unquote shot. Yeah, that too. Stark difference in gun safety done right for film sets. Keanu Reeves trains and owns his own range. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know gun safety, you should not ever use a gun or handle a gun. That's what happens on set. Before that happened on set once before too. Also, Junebug, if you're chewing, please mute your mic. But yeah, Reeves' range is impressive. Yes, I have seen his range. It is actually quite impressive. But yeah, again, to reiterate what I was saying earlier, if you watch special features of movies like Underworld and Rambo and other movies, you see the rigorous safety protocols that are taken when people are handling these guns, if they're new to handling guns and whatnot. Kate Beckinsale, when she was learning how to handle the guns in Underworld, she did a huge spin around like a ballerina with the guns in her hand, and people were like, whoa, 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 whoa. And she's like, I'm sorry. I just felt like a little ballerina girl. And it's like, yeah, we're going to take these guns from you and we're going to mark this in an incident report because what you just did was incredibly unsafe. Unlike Keanu Reeves' intense training with guns. Yes, we all know about Keanu Reeves and whatnot. I think there should be mandatory safety training for firearms. I think the problem with that in the U.S., though, is that might lead to firearm licenses, and you can see how that ends in Australia. Here's the thing, FMA. There are things called hunter safety courses and weapon safety and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are, or when you go do hunter safety courses, you learn firearm safety. This is stuff that kids learn at like 12, 13 years old, even younger than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it comes, and people do need registration for guns. That is a fact of life. You should really look up what it takes to get a gun here. A lot of people saying, "Oh, it's so easy to get a gun." No, it really is not.
Yeah.
Not unless you're breaking the law.
Yeah. It's pretty. We have the right to bear arms, but it's pretty hard to get a gun here. I mean, you have to go through proper training courses, hunter courses, and all that stuff just to get a gun in Kansas.
You also got to pass a background check.
Yeah. Now Kansas is different. We actually, you can buy a gun, but you don't have to register it. But that's the law in Kansas, where I'm at. So, but yeah.
When it comes to, I know red and blue states have hugely varying laws and requirements. Well, that's state law and stuff. Yeah. California, New York City, and Chicago should be the 3 hardest places to get licensed. Honestly, they should have the same requirements all over the states, or in all 50 states. So many people owning guns here, Australia won't happen here. Yeah. You're talking about the riots and stuff. We're not talking about those. Got to run, Orange Hat. Good stream. Ty and chat. Thank you. Have a good night, PCAT. Thank you for stopping in and leaving a like. But yeah, folks, if you can, leave a like and spread or share the stream out. It's an open invite. If anybody wants to come in, they can come in. And we can talk on this. I plan on going for a few, or like probably for another 30 minutes.
Well, I watch the special features on like old war movies. Well, I'll go back as far as Saving Private Ryan. Those guys spent months. Now I understand this is a small budget film, but like months just training in gun safety and proper combat and everything. I mean, even like you mentioned, even the Rambo movies. Stallone spent months for every Rambo movie, every one, training in weapons and everything. I mean, this budget only cost $6 million from what I've read, but if they're going to do firearms, maybe they should at least spend a couple weeks or something in proper gun safety, and a couple weeks, I'm just stating something random.
Even basic gun safety could have helped prevent this incident. But while we're talking gun laws and stuff, folks, it's illegal for me to own a gun right now at this specific time of this stream because of the stuff that I had to endure in 2017, the false accusations and whatnot. There is a protection order against me because of how the case ended. So yeah, it is illegal for me to own a firearm as of right now. But honestly, do I need a firearm? No, I do not. I do not feel that my life is in that much danger. Outlander, if any of us killed someone, we would be in jail right now. Not him, though. Baldwin can't be touched. Baldwin can be touched. If they decide that to charge him, he will indeed be arrested. However, he's also right now serious or crippled with regret. Outlander, it's been reported on that he is seriously he's inconsolable. He canceled his future projects and whatnot because, well, an anti-gun nut killed a person with a gun. Oh, the irony. And I'm not saying that to diminish what happened to Helena Hutchins. I am very sorry and my deepest condolences to her family, but I also am not blind to the irony of the situation, of how an anti-2A person goes to shoot a movie where guns are involved and ends up killing a person with one of those said guns.
Yeah. I mean, there's the more stuff about this case that comes out, there's a lot of things that could have easily been avoided. And it was just, the sad part of it is it was just a lot of this stuff was just negligence with guns, and a lot of other stuff that went on set. That honestly, once the unions left, the film just should have been shut down. But so,
yep.
Because I don't even know what company was doing this. If it was like what independent company was doing this, but once unions left, you're not even making an independent movie anymore. You're basically just making a glorified student film. So, and even student films have regulations as well. So,
Sorry about that. I had to step away for a moment.
that's
If anyone of us, it seems that people or the chat has slowed down. But yes, I probably should share the link in whatchamacallit as well, Discord's. So let me go to Discord and share this out. I believe I still have it saved onto my clipboard in my phone. So let's show you share. Place. And so the thing about her wiped Twitter account, everything was wiped. Likes, retweets, regular tweets, there's zero activity. Yeah, that's what happened when you shut down your own account.
I think I could understand why she would wipe all social media right now.
And go to this one. Let's see. Alrighty. But yeah, I shut down all of my, or because basically touch on this, I shut down my political profile on Twitter. It wasn't getting any traction, nor was the political channel. That's why I got rid of it as well. Wonder if tweets about her TikTok are still available. Yeah, they are. I have seen them, but I don't have a Twitter too. LOL. Yeah. So if anybody wants to join,
yeah,
there you go.
I really only have YouTube as far as social media, so, and that's mainly to get.
How do you promote your stuff?
Word of mouth, and I've joined some pretty good communities. So, because I only started YouTube honestly to get my film career going. So,
Well, hopefully that works out for you.
Yeah, well, and off topic, but just how do I put this in a way? Social media and I have had disagreements before in the past, so.
Well, hopefully Kansas can take a page out of Texas's book right now, because what they're doing, or they're suing social media. So yeah, I have a personal Facebook, Parler, Minds, and Gab left. I don't use. I'm not on Gab, but I think Parler is dead, and I'm on Minds as well.
Maybe I should just start a MySpace for the kick, just
if that even exists.
It still exists. You can still use MySpace.
Didn't know that. But that's weird. My thing says 0 people are watching, yet I know for a fact that Forbidden is still in the damn chat. Weird.
YouTube glitches.
Well, StreamYard glitches, really. Yeah. Let me check, see if I'm actually streaming against anybody right now, because I think I might be.
The real thing to me is, now you could always argue that it was never really reported. Accidents like this never happened I'm not going to say never, but it was very rare in the golden age of Hollywood, 1930s and 50s. It's when people started, being anti-gun, when all this, when mainly a lot of this stuff happened, accidents involving guns in movies. Probably because back then people were more gun conscious. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you really find a few instances where there's stuff like that, but.
How you doing, Caroline?
Hello. How are y'all?
Good. So, what's your take on all of this?
Just completely stunned at this point. I am a firm believer in, if you're going to handle a weapon of any sort, not just guns, any sort, you either need to be trained, you need to go over safety protocol, and you need to treat it, if it's a gun, it needs to be treated as a live weapon at all times. Why there was not multiple safety checks done is beyond me. And I'm with a lot of the people. Why is Alec Baldwin not in, some sort of hot water for this? I know it was an accident, but where was the gun safety? And you have to feel bad for her family because she went to work to do her job and now they don't have her. I'd be angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, you know, it's one of those, the biggest thing for me in this whole thing was, why was it not checked? Who dropped the ball? And where's this going to land?
Well, it seems right now all evidence kind of points to the person in charge of the weapons, and so that's where it's leaning right now. We'll wait till further details come out, but you
But
know, and if she is found guilty, then like I said, honestly, she should serve a good amount of time for Nick,
absolutely.
and honestly, because she's in charge of all weapons, she was an inexperienced 24-year-old who, you know, had multiple past experiences where she was unsafe with firearms, and she should honestly serve, serve a good amount of time in jail for this because so.
I mean, from a person who is a licensed person that carries. Yes, I live in the state of Texas, but as a person who is licensed to carry, not only in Texas but federal level, this is a complete failure, utter blatant disregard, and if they already had trouble with this young lady, why was she hired in the first place to do this again? That's how I see it. You know,
Exactly.
That's a good point.
don't
Exactly.
hire somebody who doesn't know their job.
Honestly, if I've met, I've had multiple, I know multiple independent filmmakers, and they they spent over half their budget if they're going to use actual guns. They spent over half the budget on a good armory master just so they don't have mishaps like this. And honestly, when you're handling number one rule, I'm going to keep saying it, of any type of gun, you treat every gun as if it's loaded. It does not matter if they say cold gun. You check that gun before anything with it. I mean,
Exactly.
even goes back to you even mentioned other weapons. Harrison Ford, every time he does an Indiana Jones movie, he does whip training, um, like for months just to make sure he's good with that whip. And he's
I'm also a martial artist.
mm-hmm.
That's one of the things. I always check my weapons. Always make sure I'm up to date or whatever I need to be using this because I know I could potentially hurt somebody or kill somebody. I mean,
Exactly.
it's just common sense. Well, if it was common, everybody'd have it. Sorry.
That's okay. Outlander. People can indeed use this to turn it into a political thing. I believe some people have tried already. But if they do, there's something seriously wrong with their heads. There's no way that this can be spun politically.
No. It,
They're
it
talking,
can't.
or Forbidden Ruin. Hold on, Caroline. The Forbidden Ruin. They're talking about the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed. It's reported that this is her fourth gig. Yes, but her second gig as armorer. or the second time she's mishandled weapons as an armorer. But this biggest job she's had in this position, she shouldn't have been alone. Yeah, you're right. She shouldn't have.
No. I mean, the gun to an 11-year-old kid on one of her.
That, yeah, the scene called for the 11-year-old to wield a weapon. However, she loaded it wrong. She loaded it unsafely, and they had to halt production because she did that, and they wanted to make sure that she did it right. That's what happened in that situation with the girl, or with Ryan Kira something or whatever.
Well, so that lucky,
No, you can continue.
very lucky situation there.
Yeah.
God was definitely watching that 11-year-old kid then.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, basically, from the evidence we're hearing right now, it does seem like it's of all. I mean, at the end of the day, she was supposed to be the one who was supposed to be handling the weapons, making sure they're safe, and because of the fact that she has multiple instances, all the evidence kind of is pointed to her. Now, Alec Baldwin, I think, he's probably, even though he pulled the trigger and killed somebody, he's probably gonna get off. I don't think he's gonna serve jail time. He should, but I think
there is a real chance that he might not be seen, or that he might be cleared of all wrongdoing. However, if that does happen, I believe that people will indeed give a sufficient amount of backlash. I mean, hold on one moment. Yeah, Junebug is actually breaking up really bad. Am I also breaking up real bad too, Caroline?
Am I all right?
Yeah, you are now. Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, you are so far.
Well, then she must have, or it's probably on her end. But yeah, when it comes to these problems, folks, basically the moral of the story is you really should check every time you are handed a gun or hold a gun. You check it. You check for safety. You check for whether or not it is loaded. You ask the person handing you a gun if it is loaded. Did you check it and whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
And that is all there is to it. If you can't follow those simple rules, you should not be handling a gun, period.
Exactly.
But anyway, I am going to start wrapping it up here because we did cover all of the all that needs to be said. And honestly, again, thoughts and prayers out to the Hutchins family for their loss. I hope that some sort of comfort can come in knowing that she has indeed her life hopefully will not have gone in vain. I really hope that somebody is held accountable for this, and all involved in the negligence are held accountable, because that does need to happen. There has been too many times where the rich and powerful have gotten away with things simply because they are rich and powerful. It doesn't matter if this was an accident or not. When you have lax safety protocols and where you are not following the proper safety protocols, you should not hold a weapon, and your production should be closed down.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, folks, I am going to start wrapping it up here. Thank you to Caroline. Thank you to Junebug, Forbidden Ruin, Outlander, Happy Dinosaur, Price is Right, PCAT, everyone else, Caroline from Sexy Goth Girl, Jeff B, Epi, the Oz. Who else has or was in JM 2021? And let's see here, myself. Thank you to all who joined in the discussion.
Did we?
But yeah, it's okay, Caroline. I'm actually ending it right now anyway. But thank you for joining in a little bit.
Before we leave.
Anyway, folks, thank you.
Before we leave, did we want to take silence for the one who passed away?
Yes, that is a good idea. We will take a moment of silence for Helena. And with that, folks, have a wonderful night, and always remember, stay humble.